Help me reach 2,000 subscribes. Support the video with a like, and leave your thoughts in the comments. I read every comment. Thanks. I didn't expect tonight to feel like a challenge. Emma had texted me earlier, the words practically glowing on my screen. Had an amazing night. Can't wait to see you. I smiled, imagining the laughter, the warmth, the familiar touch that used to feel like home. It had been years, but I had learned that anticipation can be deceiving. Marriage, after all, isn't always fireworks. It's quiet, subtle shifts, moments unnoticed until they accumulate. I came home later than usual, the city lights flickering against the windshield as I parked the car. The apartment was quiet, too quiet. Normally, the faint aroma of dinner or the background hum of a show would greet me. But tonight, there was only stillness. I stepped in, the hardwood floor creaking beneath my shoes, and saw her in the bedroom, sitting cross-legged on the bed, brushing her hair, a faint smile tugging at her lips. She looked up, eyes bright, like she had just returned from something exciting. "Hey," I said softly, not wanting to startle her. She glanced at me, a quick flash of joy, then returned to what she was doing. I set down my briefcase and coat, careful not to make too much noise. The bed was perfectly made, too perfectly. The sheets were smooth, the pillows arranged just so. I could see the faint outline of something placed deliberately in the center of the mattress. My pulse quickened, curiosity mixing with a cautious sense of dread. Emma looked at me again, her voice light, teasing almost. You wouldn't believe it. Tonight was incredible. Just incredible. Her eyes sparkled, and I nodded, letting her words sink in. I had learned long ago not to react immediately, not to give away too much of myself in these small, delicate moments. I moved closer, pretending to inspect the bookshelf, my eyes flicking discreetly toward the bed. That's when I saw it clearly. A small envelope, simple, unassuming, but strategically placed. My name wasn't on it, but I knew immediately. I had left it there earlier in the day, knowing she'd see it at exactly this moment. It wasn't a note, not in the usual sense. It was a series of photographs, carefully chosen snapshots from years of our life together. The first one was from our first anniversary, the one where we had eaten that ridiculously overpriced dinner by the lake. Another was from the trip to Edinburgh, where she had laughed so hard she cried. There were more Christmas mornings, birthdays, evenings at home, moments she had cherished, or so I had thought. She picked up the envelope, her fingers brushing lightly over the edges, her expression shifting subtly from excitement to confusion. "What's this?" she asked, her voice quieter now, the sparkle dimming just slightly. I stayed silent, leaning against the doorframe, watching. Every movement she made told a story. Every hesitation, every small intake of breath. She flipped through the first few photographs quickly, scanning them, her lips parting in a faint gasp as recognition hit her. I saw it. The first crack in her confidence, subtle, almost imperceptible, but there. Her posture stiffened, shoulders pulling back as if the memories weighed more heavily than she expected. I could see her composure faltering, her smile flickering uncertainly. "Michael," she began, voice trembling slightly. I raised a hand, a silent signal to let her process, to let her confront herself with the weight of what she claimed earlier, the words about the amazing night, the freedom she had felt, the excitement she had bragged about. I let the silence stretch, letting the tension build naturally, a quiet storm in the room. She continued flipping through the pictures, slower now, each one a quiet accusation, each image a reminder of every time she had taken me for granted, every moment she had forgotten my presence, every night she had left me alone while she pursued her own thrills. The envelope was small, almost trivial, but the effect was monumental. I had never seen her pause so long over something so simple. The contrast was stark. Hours ago, she had walked in confident, radiant, the excitement practically vibrating from her voice. Now, with each photograph, that confidence began to shift, replaced by an awareness of what she had overlooked, what she had dismissed. I stayed in the corner, calm, letting her confront the reality I had quietly curated. There were no words from me yet, just presence, silent and observing. By the time she reached the last photograph, a picture of us laughing on the beach last summer, The faint tremor in her hand was undeniable. Her breathing had slowed, the earlier brightness in her eyes muted, replaced by a quiet reckoning. She looked up, meeting my gaze, and I saw it. Hesitation, uncertainty, the smallest hint of guilt or realization that her amazing night had not erased the life we had built together. I stepped forward then, slowly, deliberately, and for the first time, spoke. "Do you remember this night?" I asked, holding up the last photograph gently. She nodded, and the silence between us was heavy, layered with years of choices, moments ignored, and the subtle consequences of neglect. Her expression shifted again, a mixture of surprise and introspection. I could feel the tension in the room, thick and almost electric. It wasn't anger I wanted, nor confrontation. It was awareness, a moment for her to see clearly, to understand the quiet impact of actions taken lightly, of words spoken carelessly. Tonight had started as a casual evening, a simple declaration of excitement from her. But in the small, deliberate act of placing the envelope, I had quietly orchestrated a change, not through confrontation, not through drama, but through reflection, through memories, through the weight of what we had shared. And as she looked at me now, her confidence subtly altered. I knew that the rest of the night would not proceed as she had imagined. The dynamic had shifted, silently but irrevocably. Emma stood there, the envelope still clutched loosely in her hands. The photos had done their quiet work. Her confident, carefree aura from earlier had faded into something more tentative, uncertain. I watched her, calm, giving her the space to absorb what I had set before her. I didn't need to speak immediately. The silence was its own language, a mirror reflecting years of choices, of attention given and attention neglected, of moments treasured and moments taken for granted. Finally, she spoke, voice barely above a whisper. I didn't realize. Her words faltered, caught between apology and disbelief. I shook my head slightly, a gentle, almost imperceptible gesture. It wasn't about apologies. Not yet. This was about recognition, about her seeing what I had quietly built, what she had subtly dismissed. I walked closer, keeping my movements slow, deliberate. "Emma," I said softly, "you told me you had an amazing night, and I believe you. But these are all the amazing nights we've shared, every laugh, every quiet moment. And you forgot some of them, didn't you?" Her eyes flickered down to the last photo, the one where we were on the beach last summer, sun low, laughter frozen in time. She swallowed, a faint tremor in her hand betraying her attempt to maintain composure. "I didn't mean to forget," she murmured, but the words sounded empty, even to her. I let the statement hang in the air. There was no accusation in my voice, no sharp edge. Instead, it carried the weight of years of quiet endurance, of love given and quietly chipped away at by neglect, by distraction, by moments she had prioritized over us. The calmness of my tone made the impact more profound. She was seeing the cumulative weight of her actions, the subtle erosion of connection that I had endured silently, and it was unnerving her. She stepped closer to bed, eyes scanning the photographs again. I don't know what to say," she whispered. Her confidence, once radiant, was now replaced by hesitation. She looked at me, searching for a reaction, for some emotional explosion, for anger, but all I offered was stillness, a quiet strength that neither demanded nor begged, simply observed. I finally spoke again, a measured calm in every word. "It's not about what you say tonight, Emma. It's about everything before it. Every day you told me about your amazing experiences, every night you laughed with friends, every moment I tried to reach out and connect, and I was ignored in anger, just in absence. And now, seeing these moments, you realize, don't you?" Her eyes met mine, and I saw a flicker of recognition, of understanding dawning. She nodded slowly, a silent admission that something had shifted. The envelope, the photographs, the quiet orchestration. It had done its work. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't confrontational, but it cracked the illusion of her carefree certainty. I never thought about it that way," she said, voice trembling. I thought last night was enough to reset everything, to make me feel good about us again." I shook my head, gently, with no judgment. "One night doesn't undo years, Emma, and confidence built on neglect isn't confidence. It's a shield, a way to avoid seeing the truth. She sank onto the edge of the bed, the envelope now open, photographs spread before her. Her hands hovered over them, hesitant, almost protective. I see it now, she murmured. I see what I've missed, what I've ignored. There was a pause, a long, pregnant silence where the air between us felt electric. I knelt beside her slowly, maintaining the calm, the quiet authority that had been missing in our years together. This isn't punishment, I said softly. This is recognition. A reminder of what we built, what mattered, and what almost slipped away without notice. Confidence isn't just about nights out or fleeting thrills. It's about knowing what you mean to someone and realizing when you've forgotten it. She looked at me then, fully, not just glancing, but truly seeing. There was a flicker of vulnerability there, a break in her armor, the kind of moment that reveals everything beneath the surface. And I saw her, Emma, the woman I had loved, confident yet flawed, radiant yet fallible, finally confronting the reality she had overlooked. She exhaled a long, soft breath and set the photographs aside. Her voice was quieter now, almost reverent. Michael, thank you. It was simple, understated, but the weight behind it was enormous. Not just gratitude, but acknowledgement, respect, a recognition of the patience and care I had carried silently for years. I nodded, letting the moment stretch, giving her space to process, to absorb the shift that had occurred. There was no shouting, no confrontation, no drama, just two people, standing on the precipice of understanding, the balance of their relationship subtly but irrevocably altered. The night didn't end in anger, nor in dramatic reconciliation. It ended in awareness, in quiet revelation. Emma's confidence, once bright and unshakable, had been tempered by reflection, and in its place emerged something steadier, more grounded, a realization that true connection, attention, and love are never about a single night. They are about years of presence, of care, of noticing, of remembering. I stood, and she met my gaze. There was a new depth there, a subtle acknowledgement that things had changed, quietly but undeniably. And in that quiet shift, the power balance, the understanding, and the intimacy we had neglected for so long began, at last, to find its way back, not through grand gestures, but through recognition, memory, and the quiet weight of truth. Tonight, the apartment was still, but it wasn't empty. Something unspoken had shifted, and I knew, as I watched her finally release a soft, contemplative sigh, that the real transformation had begun, not in confrontation, not in dramatic displays, but in quiet awareness, the kind that leaves no doubt, no hesitation, no unresolved tension.